Alright, this is my RC10 Baja. This is a part 2 video. I had another video where I just put it together. Now I got it running and everything. I got a couple little bugs to sort out and that, but it's good enough to drive anyway. The body painted at code 302 dots and leaf green, and it didn't turn out perfect, but it's good enough. Give a quick rundown. I described the whole car completely in the first video, but figured I'd do a rundown. This is original H chassis RC10 gold pan. I made the aluminum A-arms all the way around. See, I still haven't gotten around to touching these screws up. And I made this whole front bulkhead piece there. It's a combination between the control arm mount, the shock tower, and the chassis braces. And I relocated the steering servo to the back because once I whacked this thing down to shorten the wheelbase, I didn't have room for the servo up here, because I actually shortened the wheelbase and narrowed the track of the car to get it to fit the body there. And it's all Traxxas electrics, well, except for the motor. I did have a Traxxas Titan 550 motor in it, but it took a shit on me pretty quick, so I put a Losi 12 turn in it. It's got a Traxxas XL5 speed control, Traxxas waterproof servo. I need to get a waterproof box for the receiver. And in case you're noticing my funky steering linkage rod there, it does work pretty good. And you can see a couple other aluminum pieces I made, the transmission brace and the servo mount. I stripped the anodizing off the shocks with Easy Off oven cleaner, just sprayed it on there, and it just pretty much wiped right off, and I just went over them with some 2000 grit sandpaper. The chassis, I just scuffed it up and painted it duplicolor cast iron gray, and drilled the holes in it and everything, clear coated all that. You can see here the little L brackets I had to make to mount my shocks on the front control arms there. I dyed all the nylon parts black, except for these rear hub carriers. Those are off of another car I had to borrow because I snapped a couple stub axles, because this thing sits at a pretty extreme angle, as you can see there. And I had the dog bones too short. You can see I just cut the dog bones and weld them back together because they're shorter. Because normally these control arm mounts will be up here on top, right next to the transmission. And I mounted them down low so I wouldn't have such an angle of the A-arms, and to be able to narrow it, because I was able to use a bolt going into the transmission, or a screw going into the transmission, and one going into the bottom of the rear bulkhead here to bolt them back on. And but the whole issue with the dog bones is going to be solved here soon, because I have a Traxxas slash transmission coming in. It should be here today or tomorrow, and I'm going to mount it in the car. And these are Traxxas Bandit half shafts, so that's going to solve the whole problem. It'll be all nice and smooth. And all I got to do is shorten these half shafts to fit the Traxxas Bandit hub carriers. All you got to do is ream the hole out to an 1/8 inch to fit the 1/8 inch RC10 hinge pins, and they came with the stub axles and everything. And so all I got to do is drill a couple holes in the chassis and pop that stuff in there, and I'll have a nice transmission. And I don't have to worry about all the guys on eBay thinking that the 3-gear RC10 transmissions are made of freaking gold. So we're going to go ahead and give it a run here. Runs pretty good for a brush motor. I want to get I want to put a brushless setup in it at some point, but money's a little tight right now. Gotta get this body on there. Okay. And that is just with the 7.2 volt nickel battery. Here we go. Oh shit. Oh goddamn. Oh.